it's Rachel with Rachel Super Cute Creations, and I am going to do a little mixed media play today. So um, I have all of these scraps of paper that would normally go into my recycling bin, and I decided I'm going to go ahead and just do some mixed media work. So I normally do these on Sunday nights. Um, but I am going to be teaching a course tonight, so I will not be able to do that. So all I'm using, I just have some regular old acrylic paint. Hi, Teresa. Good morning. And I'm using just an old card from Travels, so hotel card, and I'm just gonna lay some paint on there. And let's see if I can put my little palette here. All I'm doing is just kind of dragging my card in the paint, and I'm just putting it on, covering up the words. And like I said, this is just something that I had. Oops, I got my hands in it already. And you can lay it on pretty quickly. You get some nice design. I'm using some metallic paint as well. And the cool thing about this technique is that you can then stamp over it. I don't mind seeing the words a little bit in it. So I try to leave a little bit of the words. I don't want a lot of them, especially if it's something that came from like an email or something. You don't want to have confidentiality come across there. So I just picked some colors that made me happy this morning. And we've gone ahead and we've created this new piece. I'm going to let this dry. The good thing about acrylic paint is it doesn't take long. This is just something that I was writing some things out last night, getting ready for my class, and the back side, because I'm constantly recycling, I wanted to make sure that I just turned it into something that could be used in art journaling, junk journaling, whatever. So what's everybody up to other than some of you are probably, let's see, what time is it? Are getting ready to head to church or have already been to church this morning. So I hope everybody is just having a great Sunday. Teresa, what are you up to this morning besides watching me? Any big plans? So I'm just building, and you can always go back in afterwards and build more. You can see on this one, you can see the writing through it, but you can't really read anything that I wrote, so I'm okay with leaving that like it is. And I'm just using an old envelope from Amazon. Now you do have to be careful because the paint will start to get, oh, wonderful, that's so wonderful. I hope you have a wonderful time with your mom. Cherish the time you have with her. I find it so amazing just to hear people who are in their 80s and 90s, and I just love to hear about their life and their experiences because I think they're just so amazing. So I'm just building. You can see, this one, you can see a lot of the writing through. So I just go ahead and I just kind of build on top. I go ahead and do a thin layer. Do not use a lot of paint at one time because what will happen is it will start wrinkling your page up a lot. And that will be counterproductive to your project. So I added quite a bit of green on here. I don't quite want that much green. I'm going to kind of set this to the side for a minute because I have a lot of green still on my palette. And I'm going to wipe some of this green onto here. And I'll go back in and add some other colors. This is a sheet that I used during my live sale, and I need to just type up this, but I was going to toss it into the recycling bin, and I thought, no, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn it into some art paper. Ooh, I love the colors and how this one's mixing. Yeah, I think that's wonderful. So she was a veteran. It's going in, and I'm just hitting a little bit of pink, and then I'm going to take some of this silver, and I'm just going to mix it in a little bit. Just trying to go over, and this is going over Sharpie marker, you guys. So, I mean, you can pretty much go over anything as long as you put it on in layers. All right, I'm going to set this to the side for just a second, and I'm going to go back to, actually, get a little bit of that silver off on here. Okay. So come in here with the purple and the white, and I'm going to lighten this up a little. And I did get too much silver in there, but that's okay. We'll just come back over. Oh, look at that marbling effect. I know it's hard to see in the camera. Hi, Liz. How are you today? Happy Sunday. All right. So I'm just going to pull this last bit of paint off of here. So if you're painting, if you're a painter like I am also, use this paint up. Do not leave extra paint on here. And what I do is I do use it all up. Even if I grab some old book page and I don't have a lot, so I'll do just as simple as grabbing a scrap piece, and I will use up every bit of that paint that I have. And even if it's muddy, that's fine, because I can always go over it with paint again on another day. So don't waste it. Oops. And I scrape as much as I can off. And this was just an old book page. All right. So I'm done with that. So I'm going to grab a baby wipe. Kind of set this over here. And wiping my hands off. This is kind of a messy project. You guys, no matter when I use paint, whether it's with a paintbrush or not, I cannot manage to keep myself clean. Okay. And you don't have to clean your card off. I just try to clean the majority of it off because I do use these sometimes as a paper folder. And so if I don't want to get paint on something, I want to make sure that it's off. And then usually what I'll do is I'll just wipe my plate, and then I use my plate again. You don't have to do that, but I try to be mindful. Okay, so these are the papers we have, and I'm just going to let them kind of set and dry a little bit, and we're going to play with these once they get dry. There's a big glob of paint on there, so I'm just kind of stamping it off onto this piece. There we go. Okay. Just going to kind of let these set and dry a bit. It will not take long. And of course, that's still wet, and I just got it all over my hands. Oh, goodness. All right. So I'm just going to lightly wipe this down because I'm going to be adding some more paper. And what I thought we would do today is we would make some strip embellishments. So what I'm going to do is grab my paper cutter, and I'm going to start grabbing some strips of paper that I have. And I'm going to cut them at about 2.5 inches wide. So we're just going to get ourselves some strips, and we're just going to set them in a pile. And what I like to do with this project is I like to use, as best as I can, the smallest strips. So I'm grabbing my strip box. A lot of you saw this last week. And I'm just going to create some strips in which we're going to create some closet pieces. Yeah, this is great to do with kids. I love to do this with kids. And the kids have a great time. And then when you have this mixed media, you know, it's fun for them. It's fun for us. And then you can use it in so many projects. You can see this is a piece of black cardstock that was all kind of messed up, and I did mixed media on the top of that. I actually use it for my snowman scarves, and I also use it for little buttons and things and punch some things. So it's fun. Here's an envelope that some mixed media came on, and so this is another great piece that we can use. This was given to me in some Happy Mail. And it's actually, when you were done, you were supposed to throw away the outside. And I was like, absolutely not. So, and I keep this because that can be used on something too. So we're just creating some mixed media strips here. I'm going to pull some book pages out of this mess I have. How many of you do printables? A lot of times I have printable pieces left. Kind of a mess going on here. Try not to have anything crash, so I apologize in advance if something crashes down because I have this gigantic box propped up on my garbage can next to me. Okay, so you don't have to have these straight. I just, for this, I'm going to, and I'm not going to throw this away because that's something I can use. I'm just going to strip up the rest of this. I've been kind of hoarding it. So what's better than using up your stash, right? And making something new. Okay. So we'll put that in that pile. I can't believe I'm not to my book pages yet. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All kinds of stuff here. Here's some hymnal pages. All right. This is from something else I got in Happy Mail. It's like paint samples. Came out of a catalog. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to use that just because there's a lot of texture on those. So you could use magazine pages. And what a fun thing to do with kids too. So just stripping these up. Going to strip up some of these hymnal pages. And you could tear these. You could, you know, use whatever you have. I just kind of want to work with some 2.5 inch. And what we're going to do, you guys, is we're going to make some strips about this big to kind of keep in our stash that can be torn and used in different ways. You can see this came out of a, looks like an old Stamp It Up book or something like that. But it's fun as well. So we're going to use that up. How many of you have done flow journals or flowish journals? So those are really fun, and sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with all this stuff? Well, this is a great project for that. And if you don't like something, you can always mix media over it. This is some children's book pages, and it's kind of a glossy, heavyweight, but look at the colors on the back that we can add. So this is going to be fun. for our mixed media. And remember, you can stamp on things. You can add, you know, you can always layer on top. I always like to have bases to work with. And we'll go ahead and we'll strip this up. And then I'll grab a few more pages and then we'll be done. I know I'm probably boring you guys. You're like, really, Rachel, why are you cutting paper on camera? Well, because I wasn't planning on coming on at this time today. But I thought, oh, I have to do a video for my ladies out there. So, okay. I'm going to grab just a couple more pieces and then we will get started. Here is what I was talking about. So here's a piece from Calico Collage that I didn't use from a digital kit. And it's another great way. You could use scrapbook paper if you wanted to. There's a lot of different things you could do. All right. Let's use some of this. What is this lady's name? Edith Holden pages. Just going to chop these up. We'll keep that. So we get a little mix of vintage and then let's use some of this. This is kind of cool too. This is from an old recipe book. All right. And I feel like I need some more. So here's one of those scrapbooks I was telling you about. So you could pull things out of here if you wanted. These are kind of smaller pieces, so I'm not going to do that. The other thing you can, so I have a bunch of this paper. It's nice, heavyweight, but I'm not ever going to use this. This is another great piece that you can do some mixed media work over top of. So I kind of keep that in there because the base is very nice. And one day when I want to do some mixed media, I just go ahead and grab some of that. So, you know, don't feel like you have to have certain paper for mixed media. Because you want to just use what you have. And I'm going to grab this. And I love these holes. So I'm going to keep these holes. And then we'll do another strip. And we'll just kind of get started now. All right. So I'm going to set this to the side. And I'm going to grab my metal ruler. You could keep your paper cutter out if you wanted to. I'm going to flip this over so we don't have to look at this paint. Oh. All right, there we go. Didn't realize my address was on there. And these are starting to dry, so they're going to be pretty close for me to be able to start stripping up in a few minutes. But we want them to dry completely, so I'm kind of laying them out. I have a lamp here that I'm directing the light to. So the next thing we want to do is we want to take these strips. We're just going to take a few of them, and I just start tearing them into some rectangular and square pieces. And I'm not particular about what they look like, because if I want them smaller, I'll just make them smaller as we go. So just get some things that I can work with, both with text on them, color, pictures. I'm just creating a little pile here. The other thing is if something is not the color you want, You can always take white paint or gesso and go over it. And that helps mute the colors, create a base color for you. So this one's fun because it has pick color on one side and text on the other. So you can kind of decide what you want to use. I'm going to go ahead and rip both of those up just because it's going to give us some color. And then typically what I'll do once I make these is when I have some thread in my sewing machine that's, you know, or I'm sewing and I'm done, I'll feed these through my sewing machine and put some thread on it and create some more mixed media. Okay, there we go. Let's get some hymnal pages. Okay, we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Sorry for the boring. So everybody is in here real quiet this morning. Either I'm boring you or you guys are all kind of zoning out. How do you guys use your mixed media? Has anybody in here not ever done any mixed media? Oops. It's really fun. If you haven't tried your hand at it, you really should because it's fun. You can see these are very mixed media. There's pen and pencil, and you can go in and use white pens, and you can go in and do all kinds of things. And this is just some tea-dyed paper that I had some scraps of. This is an old calendar. I don't even know from what year. But it has some really cool script and pictures on it. So, okay. So we now have our bundle here of scraps. And this piece is pretty dry. This was our piece that I wiped all of the excess paint off of. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of tear up this. And let's see, how is this? This is still a little wet. This one is pretty good. So we'll cut a strip off of here. It's pretty dry on this side. If you do this when it's too wet, it will tear, so you don't want to. But I do want to use a little bit of our mixed media paper that we created today. And I just put all this mixed media paper when it dries. I just put it in a page protector, and I keep all my mixed media paper together. Okay, here we go. All right. So at this point, I just get a glue stick out. And I start with a piece. Let's do this so it's a little easier to see. And then I just start layering these pieces together. So if you don't have a sewing machine, I would use a little better adhesive, but because I'm going to use a sewing machine, I'm not worried about it. And I just start layering these pieces. So this first one, we're just gonna layer traditionally. And you can off center it a little bit like I'm doing here. I don't know if you can see that. Not much, but I am, you know, kind of off centering it. you can put pieces like this. So, for example, let me use this page right here. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add this. And then I'm going to add this over top of it. So you can layer pieces to get a different look. I'm going to keep adding. And I try to keep them around 8.5, I'm sorry, about 11 inches, but you can do whatever you want. If you want to store bigger ones, that's fine. So here is one. Now, how can this be used? It can be used as a belly band as is, but I like to tear it off and use it for embellishment. So we're going to go ahead and set this one to the side and let it dry a little bit. We're going to start with this piece. And I'm going to layer. I love this hole in here, so I'm going to layer this on. And all we're doing is just making new paper. And you can layer both ways. You know, if I wanted to do that, I could layer it like that or like that. I want to get some of this paper under here that had those dots and things on it because I just think they're fun. Here we go. Trying to keep things in. So these colors kind of go along with my theme. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just attach. And all we're doing is making some mixed media strips. Oops, that could be used in another project. Now, if you wanted to make these full page, you could, you could glue these and make them into full pages if you wanted to. The other thing you can do, which I do sometimes, if you watched my video last week, this ended up being my mixed media piece. You can, oops, I'm sorry. There I go, hitting it again. Sorry, guys. You can take this, cut it into 2.5-inch strips and use this as well. So you can use collage paper as another element, and that's always fun. So I like to do that sometimes too. So I'll take it and I'll just do the same thing. I just rip these little, this one's a little bit harder because I have a piece of ephemera right there. There we go. And so you can add these pieces right in and they become part of your design. So you can take collage pieces and there we go. We have 2 strips done so far. So let's go ahead and let's build on this one. We're just going to build right over top. Everybody's so quiet this morning. I love to use Music Page and I love to use Book Page because it's that neutral that allows us to bring in some of the fun elements. So then I could take this piece. We're going to hold off for just a second on that, but I am going to use that. I'm going to kind of keep more of a muted tone. Oops. I'm going to keep adding. Then I'm going to take and I'm going to add this bold piece right here. And those small strips that we had over here, those could be used as well. You could tie those in and create even more of a mixed media effect. So I could take this, I could tie these 2 together, and I have a great mixed media. Now, a lot of people are probably thinking, okay, what are you going to use these for, Rachel? Well, you can layer. I just keep these because you can layer pieces on top. If you have ephemera, you can layer ephemera on top. You can make clusters. These are good bases for clusters. You can make belly bands. And they're just fun. These are another thing that I do a lot of times in front of the TV. because it doesn't take a lot of supplies. Let's put this little bunny in here because he's cute and he's peeking out. And he kind of goes with this flower. And then I can take this piece. Now, we can also kind of go off of, so sometimes I'll take and I'll make them wider. And we'll go like this, and we'll just keep layering this gorgeous paper. I think this pink would be fun. So let's do that. I don't want to cover up the bunny's ears. So we're going to go like this. And I have this little strip right here, so he could go like this. Good morning, Mitzi. Oh, thank you. Hoping I'm not boring you guys to death. And you can just start creating. It does not have to stay in strips. You can create something that is totally different. Let's see here. I want some book page, but I don't want it quite as big as this. So I'm going to take this because I want some book page right here. I want to give it a little bit of dimension going up. So just go like this. And so there we go. We have something that looks like this. And this would look gorgeous on the edge of a page. You could use that. You could use it as a tuck, whatever you want to do. And just keep building. I don't like this. I don't want that, but the words are okay. So I'll just take this and I'll start layering on top of it. And if I really hated both sides of that, this would be a great piece to, get some paint on and start working that. It's not boring. Okay, good. Because I'm like, oh, you guys are so quiet. I don't know if I'm boring you to death this morning or what. But I did want to show you my goal is I've got to start getting rid of some of these, all these scraps. I have an entire box that was about 3 months ago. You could move things around in it. You can't even move things around in it right now. It's horrible. So since I have a lot of scraps, you guys are going to see some scrap projects. All right, so I'm just adding that. Look at this cute little bunny is right here. And you can also take pictures. This is where I was talking about ephemera and things like that. And you can just add them on there. I mean, look at how cute. Isn't that adorable? So I'm just going to add her right like this. Right over top. And I'm going to put this little pop of color down here. And like I said, this is magazine pages. This is just scraps that have been sitting there. I'll tell you, I honestly was going to throw them away the other day. I thought, you know what, if I could just start over, I would be in great shape. And then I started feeling guilty and I didn't do it. And I started feeling guilty because I thought, you know what, you're constantly telling all of your subscribers to use up their stuff and you're going to go ahead and throw these away. So look at this one. I love this one with some stitching on it. Isn't that going to be gorgeous? That is going to be absolutely gorgeous. And I'm still using these little teeny strips over here. As well. So cute. Okay. So how else might you guys use these? This one has just a little bunny ear, but that's okay. It can be covered up. Any ideas of how else you might want to use these? I love this little hole, so I'm going to keep that. I'm going to go ahead and cover that up like that. Flip this peak over the top. And guys, we didn't go out and buy any embellishments. We just used what we already had. Okay, I'm going to put this across here because I don't love that ear showing, but I like the floral piece. So just go right across here like this. And I have glue everywhere. All right, so I kind of like this. I don't like that face, but I want to add this piece to it. I'm going to go ahead and layer. And I don't like all of these lines going the same way. So I need a piece that's going to go the other way. So I'm digging in my smaller scraps here, which is why I don't throw these away until I'm done. Look, and this is just a little teeny piece, but look at the impact this can have on something. Okay, my fingers are all sticky, you guys. Okay, I'm going to use this. And we're, oops, stick that down. And then what I want to do is, remember this little guy? I'm going to use a piece of this. All right, and that piece I have to throw away because it's too small and too rugged. Yeah, you can definitely use this on tags. This would be great for on tags. Oh, I just realized this has a adhesive strip that I didn't pull off. Go this way. And we're going to pull, see there's orange right here. So I'm going to pull some of that orange down. Kind of tie the purple and orange together. All right. So we'll keep working. Keep pulling some color up. I think this would be pretty up here. So we're going to use this. There we go. Yes, you could definitely use it on tags. You could use it on, oh, I love this house. This house is going to be used. So we're going to go like this. We're going to tuck this little bunny face under. We'll leave his ears sticking up. And this is kind of the colors of the house. So we're going to I'm going to add that, but before I do that, I want to add some music page. You could use it on tags. You could use it on, as belly bands. You could use it. You could use it on front covers. You could create bookmarks out of these, which would be fun. You could put some cardstock behind them and create some bookmarks for those people who love to read. That would be really fun. ATC backgrounds would be beautiful, absolutely. You could create full pages of so you could take these and you could stitch them together and make Franken pages if you wanted to. And it's all just scraps of paper that would be just normally sitting somewhere for you. Oops. All right. Okay, so these are getting pretty dry. So let's use some of these because I love all the green in these. And they'll make some nice bright pages. So these are the pieces that we started with this morning. And this one's a little bit damp still, but this side's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll cut our strip off this side. All right. And I'm just going to pile these together. And I'm just going to make up the strips. There we go. All right. So I like this one because it has some of my handwriting on it. And I want that to show. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right over this paper right here. There's green in here, so I'm going to go ahead and tie some of this green in. It's a lot of dark green, but we're going to go in and we'll cover some of that up. There's this light green that goes with this, and it has these little ducks on it from that book page. So I'm going to go ahead and use this piece because it goes well. And we see this is a really big contrast. So what can I do with that contrast? Well, you can build over it. So sometimes when you have pieces that do not really work with your color scheme, I can mute this down by adding this piece right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add this and see how that tones it down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, because this little red piece here is really bothering me because it doesn't really go. And I'm going to pull color up into that neutral that's on top. And look at the difference that makes with that stark dark green. It now ties into what we just had in front of us. And I could tie, if I wanted to, felt like I needed to, I could tie some more of the dark up here. I don't want to because I really like those little ducks or geese or whatever they are. So I'm not going to do that. But I also feel like I need a little bit of book page or something under here. This would be fun to do something with. So I will pull, I think, those two together. And look at that. Isn't that a fun strip? So we'll kind of set that one to the side. Let's work with this. This is where it had sort of that muddy piece. So we'll kind of cover some of that up, and I'll show you how to just transform it in to something different, because I don't like that muddiness. You see, it got too mixed right there. So I'm going to go this way with the words to give it some more texture. I'm going to go under. So we'll go like that. I like this little stamping. Kind of has like little lights. And so we'll go ahead and I'm just going to flip this upside down because I'm going to cover up where it says stamping. And we'll add that right there. And then what else do we have in here to kind of pull this together here? Let's see. Ooh, this would be pretty. has kind of this muted yellow tone with this coral. And I want that coral to show. And I want to kind of do something here with where this is muted. So, I mean, I could do something like that, but let's add a long strip of pink here with this vintage paper. Just kind of put that there to start. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this last little piece here. And I'm going to just layer that over that muddy part. Whoops. And there we go. We have another strip. Now I could come over here. I have this little tiny strip. I hate to waste any mixed media paper. So I can add this over here. And to tie our theme in, I could come up here and I could add this. There we go. So there is our strip right here. All right, we are getting down and we are using up most of our pieces here. So the goal is, before we leave, to use all of these pieces. So I'm going to use this side. Let's brighten up this a little bit. Use that. I love these people. Oh, it's not going to work right there. Let's use some of this rose paper that came from, and then we can use people right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep layering this. It needs one more little piece. Let's use this. And I actually, a little bit smaller. There we go. So we're going to tuck this little edge underneath here. Cover up a little bit of that black because it's kind of too much. And we'll go ahead and we'll add this piece. And there we go. So there's another strip. It doesn't take long to build these. Now, you can do one that is just mixed media paper, which is fun too. You can also do them, sometimes I'll do them this way. So let's do one like this. So these are fun. I use these on the ankle like this a lot in children's journals. I don't know why I only do it in children's journals, but that just seems to be my thing. But it gives it a fun dimension if you are an art journaler. Hi, Laura. How are you? Let's see here. Let's use this. So you could do it like this, which is kind of cool too. And you can run it down a page just like this. And I usually just take it in my machine and I will just put a zigzag stitch down there. Sometimes I'll add fabric, lace, whatever. So you can create something that looks like this. So that's another band. We're getting down, you guys. I don't know if you look at the pile's getting smaller. Okay, here's one of those pieces that I don't like. So we're going to do a little more collage on this. We're going to go ahead. We're going to cover that up to start. I'll come back. Well, actually, I'll do it right now. I'm going to go ahead and cover that. Because this black and gray is in here, I want to tie that in. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add, I don't want to add that yet. I'm going to add this one. We're going to add in this calendar piece. We have this pink. I'll add this in down here. And then I'm going to add this as my base piece. Then I can go back in and I can pull some of these pieces that we had, these little small pieces. And I can start tying these pieces together. I know, I love scraps too, Laura. They just get out of control. I swear they multiply just like socks do. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of this white edge off. And we're going to add this up here. There we go. We have another strip. We have to use them up, you guys. We can't just keep hoarding them. Oh, my bird, it goes like this. Ooh, okay. I didn't see that. So there's a little bird on here, you guys. So I'm going to put him like this. And then we'll put some paper right here. Well, my under paper is getting kind of sticky. That's really cute. Okay, let's see what we have here. Let's use this guy. Just tying in all of those little squares that we have. All right, let's see what I have over here. I need a little piece. I want to kind of cover up where it says Pretty Bunny. Maybe I'll just do this. Maybe I'll just cover up the $16.95 and we'll leave where it says Pretty Bunny. There's another strip. All right, we're getting down there. You guys are probably like, is she ever going to stop? See how many of these you can get done, though, in a short amount of time. I mean, I don't know. We've been on here for 54 minutes. A lot of that time was me cutting. But we're using up scraps into something that can be used in a project. And when I hit that 60-minute mark, we'll stop and I'll show you what we ended up with, how many strips we ended up with. So I've done too much talking and not enough using up scraps, but I think you guys kind of the idea of what we can do with these. So tonight I'm going to be teaching a paint party at Big B Coffee. We are going to do this adorable little snowman painting that's 16 by 20. And I have about, I think it's 10 ladies coming tonight to this one. So I'm excited to go and do that. And then I'm leaving. You guys won't see me much this week on my channel. I'm leaving to go to Washington, D.C. because my school is a blue ribbon school. And I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a national blue ribbon school, which means that our academics and our achievement have been so high. There were only 13 schools in the state of Michigan that received the designation from the state, and there are 300 schools across the country that will be honored in Washington, D.C. next week. So I will not be back until late Friday. I'm very, very excited. It will be my first trip to DC. It's going to be not a lot of trip where I can do, or a trip where I can't do a lot of sightseeing, which I'm really bummed about, but that's okay because I want to take my family back there so we can do it together. We've talked about doing it for a while now. But I get to go out and I get to receive an award for all of the hard work that the teachers, the students, administration has done over the years. And so it's very exciting an honor. I'm so honored to be able to go and do that. Thank you, Mitzi. All right, so we're at 57 minutes. So we're kind of in the countdown here. Let's see how many more strips I can get in that amount of time. See, now I put some pressure on myself and I can't make decisions. Okay. All right, we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Thumbs up, you're liking this? Good. I never know, because when you guys get so quiet on me, it's like, all right, are they just bored to death? Are they watching me because, they don't have anything to say because they're just watching? It gets a little nerve-wracking when you're just the only one on this end of the camera. Anything with music paper? I know, I love music paper too. And I have a lot of music paper. All right. So I still have this piece. I'm going to tie it into the top. Oh, darn it. There I go again, you guys. It has this little sticky strip on it. It already has adhesive. And there I go. So we'll tie some more of this together up here. Ooh, sticking, sticking, sticking. And then I love this. I think I should tie, what do you think? Let's do it on this side. You're just crafting along? Awesome. Glad you're crafting along with me. Oop. Well, let's try this again. And now I have my fingers are stickier than the paper that I'm putting down. Might have to get a baby wipe here. Oh, come on. All right, so we are at the 1 hour mark. I am going to clean my fingers, and then we're going to look at what we developed here. As you can see, my hands are a mess. So all I had left out of all those strips we cut, or squares, I still have some strips. But let me show you what I have left based on what we cut. All right, close my container here. Just a second, you guys, to clean off my mess. Now, I keep these gluey papers because these are another piece that you can use to do mixed media on. And I've gummed up my glue stick. Just wipe that off. Well, and I threw the cap on the floor, so I guess I'll get that in a few minutes. Okay. All right, so what do I have left for strips? Let me show you. We had 3 squares left. That's it. And out of all those strips we cut, this is what we had left. Now, what did we create? Let me show you. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 strips. Now, I want to show you something really quick that you can do with these strips if you don't want to do the squares. There's another thing you can do with them. So, let's start here. All right. So you can build them this way as well. So you can take these strips, you can create a Franken page with them, and then I'm going to show you how to, oops, I got the glue out on that side. So you can make these strips very quickly. Build a new page, and I'll show you, you can make these strips quick. All right, let's do some music page. Sorry, guys. I told you this page is getting really sticky, so bear with me, bear with me. You know what? Maybe I'll just do it on here. Okay. So we're going to just build this. I'm going to use up the rest of these strips. Well, I might have to do a couple. This is another quick and easy way. Sometimes I'll do this if I start a project and I try to keep it around an hour in my craft room. Then what I'll do is I'll do this so that I'm not putting more scraps back in the bin because I just created all of these scraps. Okay, so we've created a new page. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it this way. Remember we made those 2.5 inches wide. So I'm going to take my longest piece, put at the 2.5 inch mark. There's 4 more strips we just created. So we'll add those. I still have strips left, so we're going to go ahead and use those up. And then I had some of these skinny strips, remember? So now I'm going to intermix the skinny strips that we had left with the bigger strips. And we're creating a whole nother design. With this great mixed media work that we have here. Let's do this one next. Now this one I'm going to overlap. And then we'll use this one and it'll peek through with the and I will sew on these too, so oops. Let's have that over here. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to turn this just like we did the last one. Just looking at the length of this one. Oh, it's 9 inches. That's okay. And there's some more strips. And finally, I have this last strip left. But remember, I had some strips over here, those thin ones. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to build the rest of those up because we're using up as many scraps as we can today. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to just see, what do I have over here? Let's use them up. Oh, we can't look at that cute little ducky has to go on there. He's so adorable. Let's go like this. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to just finish up these last strips. And then we are done. We have used up all of the strips that I cut today. There we go. So for this one, I really don't want to mess up the duck and the bunny. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this like this because now you have a pocket. This could be a pocket at the bottom of a page. And now we have another pocket, which I'm going to leave the edges for right now. But if I want to, I can always cut that off. But look, there's another pocket. I can corner around these and there's a pocket. And then I have this little piece right here that could be a great, well, let's layer it up because there's just a few more pieces over here. So let's layer this up. That one's too bright. And let's use everything that we had today. So now I can just take this and make a collage. So let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. And we'll tie it together with this little piece right here. And then I will push forward all of the scraps that are left here on my desk to show you what we ended up with. All right, that's it. Let me show you what we ended up with. Oh, I fibbed. I found 3 more pieces here, you guys. Ah, here I thought I was done. Darn it. That's all right. We'll add these together too. We're at 1 hour and 11 minutes. I didn't quite make it. I was hoping to be an hour today. But I think I did too much talking. So let's add this little mixed media piece here. Just like that. Okay, so here's what we have left. I did not use this strip. I'm keeping this strip. And I have this little square. So that's all I have left from the strips that I cut. Let me pile. Oh, I fibbed. Here's another piece. I thought I had them all. We'll add this up here. There we go. Okay. So here's my mixed media pieces that I created. We've created 2 pockets, which are going to be fun. All these strips, which are going to be really fun to play with. We got quite a bit out of this. Look at all these strips. Okay, so here's the strips. I'm going to put these in a pile, and the pockets and everything we made, and the bases for embellishments. There's the strips. The pockets. All right, there we go. There's that. I'm going to scoop over what I had left in scraps, you guys. This is it from all the cutoffs and all the pages. And then we have these 2 little pieces. So I think, I don't know. What do you think? Did I do pretty good? Scrap busting? I should have counted how many pages we started with, but I didn't. So I'm not going to keep these, you guys. I'm going to throw these away, even though I really want to keep this piece because I feel like, okay, see, that's how I end up getting so many scraps because I just can't get rid of pieces. Nope, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Okay, here I go. Whoops, not that one. These little strips right here are going in the trash. Look at, I'm wadding them up. All right, so I can't get them out of the trash. And that's it. We just scrap busted a bunch of things, made some things that we can use in our journals. These would be fun bookmarks. You could take this and stitch this around the edge. You want me to make more, Laura? I can. I didn't want to keep you guys on. I have another 30 minutes if you guys want some more. Do you want me to make some more online? You tell me. If you want more, I'll stay on. I have 30 more minutes I can do. If you want me to stay on, I will stay on for 30 more minutes. I just threw away those little tiny pieces. That was it. Oh, you wanted me to make more out of those little ones? Yeah, my hands were getting too sticky. Yeah. So anyway, you know, in 1 hour and 10 minutes, we basically made 4 new mixed media pages and all of these. And I'm welcome. I'll do some more. Why don't I pull out? I have a bag of little scraps. For those of you that want to stay on, I'll pull these. Look at, I have this disaster. So how about we work with what's in here? If you guys want to just keep working along with me, that would be fine. If you got to go, I completely understand. Completely understand. But for those of you who are just kind of hanging out and crafting on a Tuesday, I am happy to stay on a little bit longer. I have all these weird, like, I don't know what you call them, notepad papers. So let's maybe use some of those up. I think I've gotten them in Happy Mail or something. All right, so I'll grab those. I'm not going to pull out more than I can handle this time, though. Let's see here. Okay. Did I say Tuesday? I might have. Today is Sunday, guys. I'll be honest with you. I was up until 2 in the morning. Didn't sleep well at all last night. So I very well could. Ooh, I was going to use this, but it's very old and it's very brittle, and that would not be a good. That has to be collaged onto something else. I very well could have said that. It's hard telling what I said, so I apologize. Today is Sunday. All right. I still feel like I'm not making any headway. One day we're going to play with all of this Asian paper that I got. I haven't done anything with that yet. But I won't dig that out today. Okay. I probably did, you guys. I'm sorry. Today's Sunday. All right. So we're going to make a little bit narrower strips this time. I'm going to do 2-inch strips. Because the paper that I'm using is thinner. I'm going to leave that as is. It's a little over 2 inches, but I kind of like those edges. All right. We're just going to use this stuff up. Use it up Sunday. These have cute little holes on them. All right, we're getting there. Sorry, guys. I know this is the boring part. I have this vintage Amco dog food thing. I know. Don't scream at me, guys. I'm going to cut it. You ready? It's been sitting in my stash for a long time. I don't know the year on it, so I haven't scanned it. We're going to use it today. All right. Just grabbed a handful of things. I did not look at what they were, how they're going to go together. All right. Oops, one more book page over here. I'm going to take one strip of each of these dyed paper or mixed media papers that we did today. All right, and we're going to get started. So I want to kind of do something vintagey since, I don't know why this one's so thick. That's all right. Since I have this vintage paper, I'm going to build something that has a little more of a vintage look to it. Something that's a little more neutral. So this is the first one we're going to do. And these papers are varying weights. So this would probably not work well for a belly band, but this would be good for collage pieces, making embellishments, things like that. It would be fine for that. And if I was not going to sew on these, I would use Fabri-Tac because I think that way they would stay together really well. This is just some wrapping paper. So I'm layering some scrap wrapping paper over this. Have I started packing yet? Nope, I have not. I really should be doing that right now, but I wanted to come on and craft instead. Isn't that crazy? And I have to work every day this week, Monday and Tuesday, and I have to work late every day. So yeah, it will be long nights for me this week. And I'm going to really try not to get on YouTube. Although I always feel guilty. I had been sick for so long, and I had been off YouTube for like a month, and people were like, thought I had fallen off the face of the earth. So I felt really bad about that. And I'll be traveling with some other people. I really wanted to get to try to take a taxi cab to some vintage shops, but I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, so this is a little wet. I need to kind of let it dry a little bit because see, it's tearing. So I'm going to set this to the side and we'll build another one. This one I'm going to build with the vintage and the I'm worried about the weather though. I was really hoping the weather was going to be nice when we were there, and I think it's going to be chilly. The other thing you can do if you want to make something longer and you don't have a longer piece is you can layer two of the same pieces. So I'm going to go like that, and then I'm going to rip one of these in half, and I'm going to layer this one under here. That way you can get the length that you want. Get that right there. There we go. So you can do something like that. Yeah, I'm afraid it's going to be cold. And I'm not a winter jacket person. I'm sorry, my dogs are barking at my husband. He went outside. I'm not a winter jacket person. I don't like jackets at all, but I am going to have to wear one. Okay. Let's see here. We'll add this little piece in here. And then I'm going to layer these striped papers. And the reason why is if you cut these are nice because you can journal in those spots. I apologize if you just heard my stomach. Sounds like I need to have some breakfast. Okay, we're getting there, guys. All right. Now, sometimes when you layer the neutrals, it's nice to have that for backgrounds as well. Because I have to throw my glue stick out. Sometimes you want to add color on top. Or if you're working with a vintage piece, you don't want a lot of color. Whoops. So I sometimes like to make neutral pieces as well, because then you can use them in a different way and you can use them on almost any project. So we'll do a couple of neutral pieces. And when I say neutral, I mean mostly, you're not bringing a lot of color in. So you can use your black and whites, you can use your tans, you can use your book pages. These are great book page projects. But you're just not bringing a lot of additional color in. And it's okay to, use the same pages over if you need to. So let's go ahead. So this one's pretty much going to be the book page, the tans, the grays. It does have a little bit of red up here, but I'm okay with that. I wouldn't use this one because it's so bright. It doesn't fit the scheme. I could use something like this. Even though it's a little more modern, it does fit with the colors well. Oh, let's see. What do I have here? And we'll end with this one here. Okay, we're getting there. Let's get our brighter strips. I'm going to add our wrapping paper. And then I'm going to add Where'd my little strip go here? I had a little strip of book page that was left. This will help lengthen this a little bit. Now you can go in front of and behind, which is another thing that I do sometimes as well. So don't feel like you always have to go one way. So this piece is, the white piece is on top, the pink piece is on bottom. Oops. But we were able to build that whole strip. Stick into my mat here. Sorry, guys. Okay. Let's see. Let's add this floral. I'm going to add this floral piece, but I'm going to, oops. I'm going to, sticky. I'm going to add this floral piece over here. It was a piece of stationery. And it goes well with the colors that are right here. And then I have this piece, which I'm going to add, but I'm going to wait a minute before I add it. Let's add this darker book page. Not sure why this will not stick to this right here. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build another, I call these paper band-aids. If I'm struggling with some paper, I'll take some really light paper and I'll put it over the back as sort of like a band-aid. And that should help that stay down. I'm sure that's not the proper term, but all right, we're getting there. I'm almost done with all of the pieces that I have here. If there's a piece that you're not particularly fond of, you know, bury that piece. You can bury that. You can also go across. So kind of like we did that Band-Aid. I want the Saturday and Sunday to show, so I'm going to put that way, but I can go this way and keep building, which is fun. So this is kind of like your Franken pages. You can do that, but you can make some really cool strips that way. All right, where are we at here? I'm going to put this one underneath here. Actually, I'll put this one underneath here. Sorry, guys, I'm whispering to myself here. So I'm going to have a little bit of that book page peek out. Just like that. And then we're going to add this piece right here. So we're kind of going both ways with this paper. So we get something that looks like that. And this is what I have left. I have these 3 little pieces. So this one I'm going to go across here. With this one will go across here. And this final piece right here, I'm going to let stick out on this upper edge. All right, so we're going to let this one dry while we go back over and cut the other ones. So we were cutting these at 2 inches. So there's our 2-inch strips. Some of the book pages are difficult to cut. So you do want to be careful and also make sure your cutting mat is clear of debris. As you're using vintage paper, a lot of the fibers will come off and cause problems. So you can see this book page it's not liking it, but that's okay. I don't mind that because we can do something with that. We'll go ahead and we're going to go in and we're going to cut these. And I need to straighten this one up because I got a little off track here. So there we go. And these would make really cool bookmarks. In fact, I might take some of these and use them. We have a little free library at the end of our road. And I might just use some of these for bookmarks. And I would keep these because, look, we can stitch this right on top, which is what we'll do in a minute. I'll show you how to convert that into something fun. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here. Still a little wet. We have these really cool strips. Oh, I love how some of these came out. Okay. And that's what we were left with. And we can take these pieces and we can glue them together to create a little quick embellishment that we can zip through our sewing machine. And we have this adorable little mixed media piece. let's add this. To here. And this is all, well, yep, that'll work too. So this is all the garbage we ended up with out of all that paper. That's it. I just threw that away. And here's what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 pieces. And I just want to show you real quick just how cute these are on the edge of a paper. So look, we can sew that down and look at the edging that that makes on a paper. Isn't that cool? You could create a belly band. All of these edging cuts, you could go towards the middle and you could have a tuck here. You can tuck things in. These are really cute. And, you know, as I said, you can make them into bookmarks. You could, you know, make little journaling cards, whatever you wanted. But we made an entire pile. These are the 2-inch strips that we made today. Here's the 2.5-inch strips. And we did not throw away much paper at all. So I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I will be back next Sunday with a craft with me. Bye, everyone.